Okay, I'm about to go take my dog on a walk. I'm about to meditate and go sun gaze. But I just wanted to make a video on what does someone need to know heading into the afterlife and the underworld. Okay, what does someone need to know heading into the afterlife and as well the underworld? First off, what's up, you guys? My name's O'Shea. As well, you can call me Atanu, for this my magical name, or Cool Cat. Just, fun nickname. So, I'm someone that, in a sense, I've been going through a spiritual awakening since probably. It's weird because 2012, in a sense, on our calendar wasn't the right year, but that's when I fully started to feel as if I was waking up. I guess it'd be the preliminaries of waking up, right? Spiritual awakening. This is when I started to actually become more spiritual in general. I started to reflect and look on my path, and I started to see that really I went from perceiving life in one way, such as being, an atheist, to then fully awakening like a butterfly into who I was meant to become. And what I am now is so different. Like I completely shifted, and it was all a perception change. At the end of the day, nothing really changes when you think about it other than your perception and your mindset to things. If you feel it like you're 80, you're gonna truly feel like you're 80. But if you feel like you're 17 or 21, even when you're 50, even when you're 30, 38, right? Then you're always going to have a healthy mind. You're always going to be able to live a better life. And those are some things that I learned along the way. So I'm someone that's been going through a spiritual awakening, about, I guess it'd be about 12 years total. And I also want to say that, in a sense, in awakening on the African calendar, they're about 5 years behind us, in a sense, like in the time that they predict, right? I believe it's the Ethiopian calendar. And if we were to look at spiritual awakening, a lot of things happened specifically 5 years ago for people. That would be about, from right now, that would be about 2018. But I do remember that, when was it? It was about 2017, 2018 is actually when we first really woke up as a collective, right? So their calendar, their time is a little bit more accurate as pertaining to what's going on right now and in this moment, right? With everything happening around us. 2017, 2018, it was that was right before pretty much, COVID happened and everything in that nature. So, in a sense, what do we need to know going into the underworld and the afterlife? It's truly knowing these sciences, right? If you have tarot, knowing the tarot, understanding the occult in all ways, right? Being able to break down the symbolisms, because it's just like when how we navigate the dream world, or how we navigate the imaginatory realms. That's, in a sense, going to be how we create our reality, right? And what do I mean by creating your reality? It's pretty much what you did here, what you left behind. Um, but on top of that, you're not taking anything with you. And I also want to give TamaRa a shout out. She also has a video on, I think it's called planning for your afterlife. So I want to say that this is a complimentary video to hers. Thank you, TamaRa, for all that you do. Thank you for inspiring me, babe. So when we're going into the afterlife, it's actually about knowing these occult sciences. It's actually about knowing, how to meditate and go to different layers of your mind, different subtle dimensions, right? Subtle energies. For myself, I was someone that I was a star seed, right? I was one of those people. And as I evolved over time, like I don't really go by that. I go by more of, you could just say a higher dimensional being, right? That's what I am as a soul. I'm not someone that, in a sense, I guess you could say is average. I'm not someone that's average, and I know that. And this is why I'm interested in these sciences and these topics and these studies, right? In the occult, in metaphysics and quantum physics, meditation, right? So along my starseed journey, I started to understand, we can astral project. We can drop into the more subtle layers of our mind. And then at some point you start to try to astral project, and then when you get into magic more heavy, you actually start to realize that everywhere is an astral projection, right? Because what we live in is a quantum illusion, a simulation. All of this is energy, but yet we think it's physical. For a time being, we come into this body to perceive ourselves as who we are, right? But in a sense, who we are isn't physical. It's energetic in nature. It's vibrations. So the more that we decompress, and start to dissolve everything that is no longer us, we actually come back into our truths. And it's actually why we come down here, is to, in a sense, we are the source, the universe, God, what some people call God, all in one simulation, right? We are the source that is choosing to express itself as all individual consciousnesses. And since we've all taken on this body, in a sense, embracing the cosmic dance, the Maya, the illusion, right? The Tandava, the Shiva and Kali, as we've taken on this dance, right? Because it is a universe, it is one song being sung. It is many different, we all are but different expressions of the universe and the source being played out in our own vibration, our own melody within that universe, within that one song, within that one dance. The cosmic dance, the Tandava, the Shiva and the Kali, the destruction and the recreation, right? And then from seeing everything, right, from first trying to astral project, we are the perceiver. We perceive what we're doing, and then we go into the observer. We observe what we're doing, and then we become the astral projection, seeing everything around us in a 360 world view, right? I also want to shout out Frank Yang for, in a sense, popularizing the 360 world view and really showing what that is, because that makes so much sense when it comes to the deeper layers of astral projection and meditation, that at some point you just start to see the astral projections. It's not so as much you have so as much you have to lay down, but it's truly about seeing them. And as we start to actually see these astral projections, it's at some point then all of it dissolves. So we go into the nothingness to dissolve the nothingness, to rise from it, kind of like the phoenix with the ashes, right? The phoenix first burns itself out, becomes nothing, and then dissolves, and then rises from the ashes of what it once was. Purified, cleansed, and then reborn to be what it was meant to become. And as that happens, we then see nothing. It's a black light. Nothing is there. Life is an illusion at its core. And then we transcend the nothingness. And then we go back to the character in which we once were, then playing out our reality. I went through a huge spiritual journey to then come back to the character and the narrative of what I once was, fully evolved, yet not fully at my highest potential, but then to come back to just everything being the same, and then embracing the journey as to now move forward with everything that I gained, right? So it's just like going within the underworld. It's about using the occult. It's about using meditation. It's about using your disciplines and what you've learned here, right? Exercise. Exercise truly helps us to dissolve ourselves, to kill off the old, and then allow it to be reborn as the new, right? So life is but a representation of the universe in all ways, whether it be you working out at the gym, or it be you taking a shit, and at the same time, or it's you going within. It's all the same at the end of the day, whatever it is that you do. At some point, you just feel like a cosmic puppet on a string. And as you follow that path, and then you have faith in that system, and then you perceive and understand and know who you are going through those realms as you die, then one, you realize death is an illusion. It truly doesn't exist. That where you go after you die is what you choose for yourself. And then it's from understanding death itself that we can then live in the infinite expansion of the nothingness, creating our own reality and then going into it. That is why we do anything here, is to evolve ourselves, to evolve our minds. We don't take physical, tangible goods, physical, tangible things into the afterlife, right? We're stripped away, just like Inanna with her jewels, or Ishtar, Ishtar within the underworld. Because as Ishtar went through the underworld, she was stripped away of all of her jewels. We can look at the jewels in the same way as the chakras, because as we're dissolving the chakras, we go through the underworld to dissolve or lose the chakras, to unify our being into one. And then from that, in a sense, we are deifying ourselves. You could say the underworld, the hell realms, right? To some, it's hell because of the way that they perceive it. But when you are dying, you're being purified in those same fires, right? When you feel that you are dissolving and going through a death experience, or going through the underworld, you're going through the trials of the gods, you could even say. And it's about dissolving your ego and then learning from those gods, right? So whether it be in the life or it be as you've passed away, everything that you've done spiritually for yourself and to ascend and to evolve, that's what would then feed that narrative, right? So if you owned a business or company, that would be injected into the astral realm. If you owned, a physical thing in some way, yes, you can take it into the astral planes, but it's also, and this is, this ties into the Egyptians and why they gave so much gold to the pharaoh once he passed, or, why they might have even buried pets, like his pets and stuff like that, but it's so that he could transcend and go through the underworld unscathed, right? So the more that you do for yourself spiritually, the more that you know, right? The pharaoh was even actually able to lay down in the coffin and then astral project for many days. And when we astral project, you can even say that's a very similar symbolism of going through the underworld, because when you astral project, your consciousness then comes back to then download, which I do have a video on downloading energy. That should already be up. Downloading energy and information, claircognizance. It's a psychic video in a sense. So, um, and then we're trying to establish ourselves and what we're creating within the afterlife and in those realms. So the more that we choose to create a reality within our mind and then bring it into our life, this is actually what is preparing us for then one day where we will one day die. I believe Nietzsche also talks about this. What is it? Amore. Um, something amor fatio. Amor fati, the love of one's fate. Amor fatio, the love of one's fate. That was what I was thinking of originally. And then Polyphia also has, also has an album. Remember One Day. Polyphia also then has an album, Remember One Day That You Will Die. So it's in understanding what we are creating within this life that we are then taking into the afterlife. So, working with deities, lighting candles and incense and giving them offerings, um, helping people, being there for yourself and loving yourself. Do you love yourself? All of these things are, in a sense, tying into who you are and what you're becoming within this life. And then it's the moment that you die, it's the frequency and the vibration which you're at. It's not exactly how you felt the day before, or you know it's not how you felt before it, it's how you felt in the moment. Did you have love for life? Did you are you gonna have do you have any regrets? Because if you have regrets, then you're gonna come back, right? If you have karma and you attach to that karma, you're gonna be sent back into this realm. But if you truly choose to transcend that karma, right, and then know that like I have no attachments, then when you die, you are going to be brought into the next life and on to the other side, right? So you're either going to shift This could either be your last life or you could choose to come back. But if you're someone that truly embraces this path and you dissolve everything that is no longer serving you, and then you truly choose to master yourself, that's what you're going to be on the other side, is a master of some sorts, right? An, in a sense, an ascended master, but further than that, depending on how you choose to evolve. Because life is a video game in a sense. What levels did you achieve? What levels did you achieve as you came to this plane of existence in this world? What did you do? How did you evolve? Did you just come here to, just only experience, or did you come here to become your greatest version and, master yourself? Truly, life is all about, as X said, life is all about evolution and growth, right? Your mind, um, how you evolve your mental, what you create, you are evolving through what you create. So why not create the greatest life for yourself, the best things for yourself, and then from that, always, love yourself and do what you need to do, and then shift into the afterlife. Or you might be and then eventually you'll shift into the afterlife, and then that will be what you create. But that's why it's about thinking further and expanding your mind, right? If you're going to have a lineage, you got to think about them and what you're going to leave behind, what you're going to provide, right? Think about it. If you're really truly, as my wife said, right? As TamaRa said, if you're truly, like, what are you, like, if you're truly preparing for the afterlife, what are you doing to prepare for the afterlife, right? Because are you leaving, a legacy? Are you leaving a lineage behind? Are you leaving generational wealth behind? These are, in a sense, the things that you should think about as you create your life and as you live your life. What are you doing? Where are you going? What is the point of this experience for you? Follow your true will, follow your destiny, and leave behind what you're meant to, right? Continue with the path, continue knowing who you are and who you're meant to become, right? And the more that you know who you are, it's about embracing that journey. And when you get to the end, you actually just realize the whole point of the journey was the journey. So, you might as well love it while you're here, right? Love the journey for what it is, and with that, what you're doing, what you're creating. And then at some point, you're going to get to the end of it, which, Neville Goddard talks about living within the end of the feeling of the wish fulfilled, right? The feeling is the secret, the feeling is the key. So if you can actually truly feel the end of your reality, you can bring it into the now and create it even faster. And then that's you bringing down a download of your path. That is your higher self speaking to you, right? That is your guides and your deities. You're always in alignment with that source. You're always in alignment with your true will, right? And as long as you embrace that vibration, which whatever it might be for you, whatever your vibration is, that's what you then would take in to the afterlife. That's creating, it's whatever your vibration's at the moment of passing, that's what you take when you die. But then at the same point, if you're choosing to just go through the underworld, you're actually going through death's system, right? And then you're learning life. You're learning how to live life. You're learning, because once you die, and this is something that Shiva taught me, once you die, you dissolve, right? And then what are you dissolving? You're dissolving death. You're using death to purify yourself. And then you're stepping into who you are after death, after you transcend death. Most likely you were brought to this video because you have similar views as me on this topic. Because everything is, source, everything is frequency and vibration. And then once we, in a sense, transcend death, it's about embracing your destiny, no longer thinking or pondering it, but truly living out every day, walking the path, knowing that you are your destiny, you are your true will, you are your daemon, right? You are your greatest version. You've already mastered yourself. You've already been through this experience. You've played this game. Now what's next is to move forward on the journey, and you're kind of just, as you're in alignment with your source, like I said earlier, you're a puppet on a string. I remember Frank Yang, that's where I first heard that term, a cosmic puppet on a string, a universal puppet on a string. That's truly what it feels like to go through the underworld, because going through the underworld does is enlighten you at a faster rate. You don't have to physically die to go through the underworld, right? You can die before you die. And this is what we experience on DMT, right? This is what we experience going through a near death. At moments of deep meditation as well, we experience these ego deaths, ego dissolution moments. And it's from the dissolution of our ego that we actually see who we are and who we're meant to become. And then we excavate, we go within, we dissolve the things that are no longer serving us, right? And then as we go within ourselves, we're able to reprogram the ego or the mind with the epiphanies that we see within our life. So the more that you see within yourself who you are, the more that you project out into that reality, and that's what will make you happy. That's what will bring joy to you. It's not really about being happy, but that's what will bring joy to you. And that's what you need to do in order to become that version, to become that self. So, envision your afterlife. Envision who you're meant to be. Continue to move forward along the path, and create that into this reality. And once you solidify yourself, then it's about taking the next steps and moving forward from that. So once you can imagine and visualize your greatest version, you will actually start to step into and embody that. And every day is but a chance to continue to do that until you then one day, meet your demise. But more so, you transition from this life, because death is but a shift in vibration. It's a transitioning of levels, not so up or down, but just more so is. And the moment that we die, we are actually just merely reborn into a new life. Am I a butterfly dreaming I'm a person, or am I a person dreaming I'm a butterfly? That's an ancient Chinese proverbial. And I leave you with that, because in a sense, life is but a dream. So when we die, when we transition or we pass into a new life, it's merely us waking up from the dream. Pain is but an illusion, but we need that pain to grow. The more pain that you put yourself through consciously and being aware of the journey and what you're creating, the more that you are going to know. The more conscious you are of the journey, the more you're going to know. So, that is what it is to die and go through the underworld. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Peace. I'm out.